here celebrating Christmas in February. I'm still working away on my base pages for my December daily from 2021, and so I'm going to share 2 more of those pages with you. A lot of these I actually sort of planned and started based on the 20 Days of Christmas cut files with Confessions of a Paper Addict. So this page here in particular is going to be using one of Virginia's cut files. And then the other page I created as part of the series that Miranda Weber does, the 12 Days of Christmas Memories. So obviously, neither one of these got posted in December, but they were both made in December. This one here, I kind of didn't post because I have to admit it's not my favorite. I really, really love this cut file. I think it turned out really well. It cut really nicely. It's one of the Christmas divider cut files, so it's actually meant to go in your album vertically and just be like a page divider in your December daily or whatever kind of Christmassy album you're doing. But I am using a smaller 4x6 album, and so to actually put it down to the right size so that it kind of fits where the holes are, I guess where each of those tabs are at the top would be where the holes are for the binder rings. It just would be too tiny and I wanted to blow it up a little bit, so I just am going to use it across the top of the page instead of vertically down the side of the page. And so I'm going to go ahead and back these little baubles. Every day of Virginia's Hop had a prompt, and so you could kind of go and choose different cut files based on that prompt. And I think this one was circles, or it could have actually been, Christmas baubles or something like that, Christmas decorations. So it just, I don't know, it was kind of a cute little cut file. It actually came in a grouping of 3, so if you go and purchase the cut file, you do get 3 page dividers, which is kind of fun. And yeah, I have to admit though, I didn't post this in December, even though I made it in December and it was ready to go on the day that I should have been posting it, but it kind of isn't my favorite page, and I struggled for a bit on whether or not I would actually use it and whether or not I should show you guys. And so I did finally decide, what the heck, I'm going to go ahead and do it. Not every page I make has to be my favorite. And when it comes to my December dailies, yeah, sometimes I just will admit defeat on some of my pages because it is a pretty big project when you think about trying to document for 25, or some people do the whole month of December, trying to document all of those days and keep up to date with everything and get it finished in a pretty reasonable amount of time. It's a bit of a task, especially for someone like me who doesn't tend to do daily scrapping like this. So I'm keeping it in and I'm using it in my album. I think I had the idea that the background paper that I'm using, which is actually the card that came in my album that is not a Christmas themed album, I covered the whole front of the album, and I've been covering all of the pages or just using them to cut my own pages. And so I thought that this kind of rainbow page actually was a little bit Christmassy. It doesn't look like it here on the screen as much as it does in real life. It has the reds, it has a couple different shades of green, it has some yellow. I just kind of thought it had enough of a Christmassy feel to it, and I knew I wanted to use that doily. It's kind of this cool, like soft, thicker, flocked almost doily, and so I knew I wanted to use that, and that would cover up a lot of it. And then with the baubles over top, I don't know, it just, in my head, it looked a lot better than it actually kind of came out looking in real life. But I'm keeping it in because that's life. Sometimes we don't get what we think we're kind of aiming for. And so I will use it, and if it really, really bugs me, I think I can go ahead and kind of cover up the background paper a little bit more, maybe add like a pattern paper over top or something. But by the time I get some pictures in there and a little bit of journaling, maybe a few extra little embellishments, I don't think that much of the paper is going to show. But as I was kind of putting it together, I was starting to feel a little bit defeated by just the whole thing. And so even these little baubles, as much fun as they were and how beautifully they cut out, I don't love how they turned out. I wanted to have just really kind of fun, unique, eccentric little baubles, and I don't know. I don't think I achieved that. But like I said, I'm keeping it all in there. It was a learning process. I did kind of have fun making it, in the sense that here you can see I'm just kind of playing around with different textures. I'm using embossing powder. I pulled out that gold marker that I love to use that I hadn't used in quite a while. I've been using glittery puffy paints, just like kids puffy paint. So that's kind of fun. And I don't necessarily regret doing any of it. It didn't turn out the way that I envisioned. So lessons learned, and I'm totally okay with that. But I did debate, because it isn't one of my favorites, and you'll see in the end. You decide, you tell me, do you roll with the punches, and if you don't love something, do you just kind of use it anyways, or would you just scrap the whole project and start all over again? Let me know. So here you can see I've got kind of a couple of metallic baubles. I use that gold pen, and I use some gold glitter paint, glitter glue, whatever it's called. And I have some silver glitter glue, and then I use some red embossing powder. That is, I think, Martha Stewart embossing powder. And there's some green and a bunch of different papers. They all come from different collections, just scraps and things like that I have in my little Christmas container of leftover papers and bits and pieces of different Christmas collections. And this is kind of it. This is as much as I do on this page, really, because I don't have a picture on there yet. So I don't want to start adding too much stuff until I know that the picture that I pick is going to be able to fit in there nicely, and I'm going to be able to kind of get those baubles to sit properly. I do go ahead and just glue these two end ones down, because most of the time the pictures that I use are portrait style pictures, not landscape pictures. So I'm pretty sure that I'll probably stick a photo in here kind of somewhere in the general center area of the page, and I'll be able to tuck it under the 3 center baubles. And I don't anticipate anyways having to worry about trying to get it underneath those 2 end baubles, but who knows, we'll see. I made sure that I didn't put the glue all the way to the edge, so if I do need to sort of peel them up just a touch, then that should be pretty easy to do. But I have a feeling my picture will just go right in the center. And then I just kind of finished them off with a little sequins at the top of each one that matches the main color of the bauble, and that number 5, because this is going to be the 5th day in my album. And I just finished it off with a strip of that gold washi tape that says Merry Christmas, just to kind of hide the seam where the baubles are hanging down from. And that's it. Very simple, very quick. Each, little bauble took a little bit of time because I tried a few different techniques on it, but it really isn't a super complicated page. And that's sort of the balance for me. Every time I create a page in my December daily that is really complicated, a shaker pocket or anything like that, something that maybe has lots and lots of different techniques or mixed media that takes time to do, I like to kind of balance it with a couple of pages that are just really quick and easy and simple, and then that way you have kind of a mix of interest in the album, and the whole thing doesn't have to take you forever and ever to do. So this again is another really simple page. And I think, well, I can't remember. I think the prompt on in Miranda's Hop was something along the lines of like a winter wonderland or something like that. Something to do with kind of that like cold, wintry, Christmassy snow feel. So again, another really simple one. I'm not going to do any techniques really on this. That piece of paper that I'm using in the background came from one of my Christmas sampler packs from Scrapbook and Cards Today. And then that tag actually comes from a paper pad that I got from Michael's a couple of years ago. It's kind of a Christmas paper pad, but it has a lot of the wintry themes to it as well. And then those stickers all come from Dollar Tree, I think. Dollar Tree or Dollarama, I can't remember which one. And I really don't do a lot to this. I just keep it really, really simple. And you can see this is an example of where I took one of the pages from the album and then I covered it to make it more Christmassy. Oh, I do something kind of extra here. I just took a little bit of the glitter glue in the clear color and I'm just outlining the snow that's on the trees. And so it has a little bit of dimension and some sparkle to it. And that is it. Super simple, super quick, super easy. And that's 2 more days of base pages done in my album. So yes, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Check out everybody else who's celebrating Christmas today with the links down below. And until next time, happy scrapping. Bye.